Germany's conservatives swept through victory in Sunday's elections, with their leader Friedrich Merz set to become the next chancellor, followed by the far-right AfD party in second place after the record gains. Merz is a long-time party rival of ex-Chancellor Angela Merkel and has vowed to crack down on irregular immigration. Merz vowed to help give Europe real independence from the US and questions the longevity of NATO's current form. He also urged the speedy formation of new coalition government, warning that as US President Donald Trump is driving rapid and disruptive changes.
Thank you very much for the trust that you place in us and also in me personally. I'm aware of the responsibility and I also understand the magnitude of the task that now lies ahead of us. I face this with the utmost respect and I know that it will not be easy.
The far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, almost doubled its score to over 20%, boosted by fears over immigration and security after a spate of deadly attacks blamed on asylum seekers. But its jubilant leader, Alice Weidel, hailed the historic result and again said her party was ready to govern with the CDU-CSU. Merz has argued that the next government must boldly address the AfD's concerns on migration and also fix the ailing economy, warning that otherwise the far right might win next time around. All right, to discuss more about what this means for Germany and for Europe, let's cross over to our correspondent Thomas Sparrow joining us from Berlin. Thomas, good morning. What do you make of these results? Help us understand it better.
There are three main conclusions that we can make at this point. The first one is that Germans voted for change. The three parties that until last year formed the governing coalition didn't get the results they were hoping for. They all reduced their share of the vote compared to 2021, the last time elections were held. In fact, the governing Social Democrats got their historically worst result ever and ended for the first time in third position. The second conclusion is that Germany is shifting to the right. The conservative bloc CDU-CSU, which until now was the main opposition bloc in parliament, won the election. They ended up with fewer votes than what they had actually hoped for, but it still means they're now in pole position to lead the next government. Friedrich Merz, the party leader, will most likely become chancellor. The far-right Alternative for Germany, or AfD, managed their best result so far, nearly doubling what they got in 2021. A third conclusion is that voter turnout at 84% was the highest since Germany's reunification in 1990. Many voters had been undecided until the last minute, according to pre-election surveys, but they showed up in large numbers to vote on Sunday.
All right. Also, let's focus for a second on the AfD. Now, AfD almost doubled its score to over 20%. What role will they play from here now?
What seems clear at this point is that they will lead the opposition. They won't be in government, most probably, because all other parties, including Friedrich Merz and his conservative bloc, have said they will not form coalitions with a party that is in part so extreme that it's under surveillance by German intelligence services. This is what Germans actually call the firewall. But the result cements the AfD's influence in German politics. Let's not forget that they're a comparatively young party. They're just over a decade old. And they've grown and grown since they were formed in 2013. And now, for the first time, they will be the second biggest party in the federal parliament right here in Berlin. And this comes at a time when they're also particularly influential in the eastern part of the country, where they won a regional election for the very first time last year. The AfD will probably continue focusing on their key topic of migration, where they are pressing for a much stronger stance on irregular migrants coming to Germany. What this rise of the AfD means for the other parties? Well, it means that they will have to essentially form majorities without a fifth of the electorate that chose the AfD.
All right, Thomas, also the Conservative bloc is in pole position to lead the new government. Now, how difficult will it be for them to form a coalition?
It won't be easy, and that is something that Friedrich Merz, the head of the CDU-CSU Conservative bloc, has admitted. In the past, it took weeks, if not months, for German parties to form coalitions, which left Germany for a significant time without a functioning government. Merz has said he would like to avoid that and negotiate a coalition agreement as quickly as possible, especially given the current challenges Germany is facing, both nationally and internationally. But that's something that's not entirely in his hands. Merz will probably first reach out to Scholz and his Social Democrats or to the Greens to gauge the possibility of working together. But finding common ground could prove to be a challenge given the differences they all have on key issues such as how to reduce irregular migration or how to fix an economy that's in a bad state.
All right, Thomas, thank you for joining in. And Friedrich Merz, a man who has never held a government role, is preparing to take the reins in Germany just as the country faces its biggest economic and diplomatic crisis in decades. And Europe looks urgently for a new generation of leaders for an era of transatlantic tension. He hails from Saarland, a Catholic upland region in far western Germany. Merz enjoyed a meteoric rise through Christian Democrats. He first won elected office for the European Parliament in 1989. But Angela Merkel soon sidelined Merz to take over the party. For a decade, he pursued a career in the private sector. He was twice rejected as Merkel's successor in 2018 and 2021. Results spell an unlikely third-act climb for Friedrich Merz, and Merz's campaign promise was to revive the ailing economy. He has given many signals to a rightwards shift. He pledges to shut German borders to undocumented migrants. Merz has vowed a zero-tolerance law and order drive. He is a licensed pilot who flies his own private jet. He has been married for more than 40 years to Charlotte Merz, a judge. Excellent spoken English and negotiating skills make him a good candidate for the Trump era. He also favors sending Taurus missiles to Ukraine that Scholz has always blocked. He's open to reforming debt limits that doomed Scholz's government, but world leaders may have to wait, with polls showing a real chance of a parliament with as many as 7 parties. Germany could be in for many months of fractious coalition talks before Merz walks into Berlin's riverside chancellery.